Hi, this is Vanessa. I've been trying to buy a golden kiwi fruit plant for a couple of years without much luck, so I decided to try to germinate some seeds myself whilst waiting. To grow kiwi fruit requires cross-pollination from the male plant to the female plant, so it's best to have a few plants available to increase the probability of having both the male and female plant in your collection. I'm not even sure whether these seedlings will turn out to be golden kiwi or whether they'll revert back to some other sort of kiwi. But it's fun to propagate, so here we go. I bought a golden kiwi from the supermarket in September last year and saved the seeds from it. Just rinsed them in water, and I think I sieved them in a normal kitchen sieve to get any of the fruit off the seeds. I then tried two different ways of germinating the seeds. One, I put a few seeds onto a paper towel, wet the paper towel, and then put it into a plastic Ziploc bag. The other way, I just sprinkled some seeds on top of some potting mix and then put a bit of vermiculite on top of that. I put both containers into a dark cupboard inside the house, so the temperature was no colder than about 13 degrees Celsius. By early November, the seeds that were in the Ziploc bag had started to germinate. The roots of the seedlings did get caught up in the paper toweling a bit, and some were destroyed. There was no germination from the potting mix container. By early January, they'd grown enough that I could pot them up into their own separate pots, and by the end of January, they seemed to grow quite rapidly. I was concerned that I only had 3 seedlings, and maybe I had all males or all females, so I decided to germinate more seeds. The pot on the left I had tried to sow in December and left them inside the house in the cupboard, and as there was no movement, no germination, I did a second batch and I germinated them outside the house in January. And this is how they looked in February. They'd started to germinate, so I pricked them out and got a couple more plants out of them. This is what the original 3 seedlings looked like by April. The weather was cooling down and the leaves were starting to look a little bit sad. I kept the 3 original seedlings outside so they were exposed to the frost. The 2 newer seedlings I didn't think could handle the frost, so I kept them under the veranda, but they were all kept outdoors. The leaves were starting to drop on the 3 original seedlings. By July, they had totally lost their leaves. They're deciduous. Out of the 2 newer seedlings, one had started to die, and the other one wasn't looking that happy either. Still no leaves in August, and confirmation that one of the newer seedlings had died. By September, we were getting shoots, and here's a close-up of one of the buds and leaves of one of the older seedlings. By August, the older seedlings were looking beautiful with their leaves. You can see a close-up of the buds on one of them. However, the last of the younger seedlings had died by this stage. By the end of October, the plants were looking great, which is a relief because we're in the 3rd La Nina in a row. The leaves were healthy and reinforcements had arrived in the form of 2 new seedlings from dahlias. So these 3 in the front row are the ones that I germinated last September. They seem to be doing quite nicely. And the 2 in the back row are from dahlias. This experience reinforced to me that I need to make the most of the growing period. So I sow the seeds in early spring so that the plant itself can grow strong and lignify before winter hits. Thank you for watching and sharing my journey.